Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the pre-bid conference for IFB-25-00203, the Southshore Library Renovations and Southshore Library Restroom Renovations. My name is Sybil Tucker. I am the procurement buyer for this project. And for the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. Today's meeting is being held by means of communications media technology, and active participation will be for everyone in attendance. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to attend the meeting. The meeting will also be available via recording after the meeting is in. It'll be uploaded into Bonfire. As a matter of housekeeping, please keep your audio muted. And bidders are cautioned that only a written addendum may change the bid document. Any statements or comments made by the county at this meeting which might appear to modify the bid document shall be considered by bidders as only a tentative position of the county. In order for these statements to be considered as an actual change to the solicitation, they must be published in a written addendum. Also, be advised that the cone of silence is in effect for this project. Bidders should not contact any employees other than those identified in the cone of silence clause in the bid document. All questions should be submitted in writing via the vendor discussions in Bonfire. Let me have our county project manager and staff introduce themselves, please, at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy Jarman. I'm with Capital Programs. I'm the manager of Capital Construction, and I'm also the project manager for this project.
And Deshaun, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Deshaun Hines, and I will be the MBE Goal Compliance Officer for this project with Economic Development Minority Small Business Programs.
Hey, thank you both. So I'm just going to just go touch on a few key items about this project in Bonfire before I turn it over to our project manager and our economic development compliance officer to discuss the goal. So I have shared my screen. You should be able to see it. This is what the Bonfire view looks like. Again, this is the Southshore Library Renovations and Southshore Library Restroom Renovations project. As you can see here, the current close date is June the 3rd. June the 3rd at 2 p.m. is the current close date for this project. We have a description here with the estimate, as well as the goal, the DMWBE goal established for this project. So these are just key items that we have listed here on the project description. Also want to make note that there is a deadline for questions. I know up here it says questions due date never. Well, that's just an area where we're not able to add in any specific language. So we leave it as never because it's a feature or a Bonfire that we are not able to customize. So we do put the language here that the questions or requests for interpretation must be received no later than 14 calendar days after the date of solicitation, issuance in Bonfire, the site visit, or the pre-bid conference, whichever is later. So at this time, the site visit is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So the deadline for questions will be 14 calendar days after the date of the site visit, which again is tomorrow at 9 a.m. So if you're interested in attending the site visit, we do encourage you to attend, and the location is listed here as well as in the bid document. And that site visit is scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. So please be mindful of if you want to attend the site visit, it starts at 9 a.m. And also the deadline for questions will be 14 calendar days from the date of that site visit. So just keep those things in mind. As I scroll through the bonfire page, you will see all of the documentation associated with this project. Under supporting documentation, you can download all of the files and for your usage. Also, as I scroll through the page, the requested information, it tells you which items are required to be submitted with your bid. So keep that in mind. The items that are required are listed as required. That will be your bid table. In other words, your line item pricing, the bidder requirements and acknowledgements, which are just a series of questions that you have to answer. The subcontractors material supplier list, the MBE1 form, that's a requirement and it needs to be filled out. The bid bond, again, is a requirement. The affidavit of compliance denying doing business with a foreign country, that is a required document. The others are optional as they are stated here. So just be mindful of those that are required and need to be completed, need to be completely filled out according to the instructions on that form or as it correlates to the clauses in the contract terms and conditions. Also want to make mention that we have what we call the document takers list, which is also could be considered your plan holders list. So these are all of the vendors that have at least downloaded a form or one of the documents that may or may not be interested in bidding on this project. So that could be, if any subcontractors are on the call today, those could definitely be it could be your plan holders list or used as your plan holders list to connect with some of the prime contractors, as well as the prime contractors can use it to connect with some subcontractors as well. So just want to make note of that. As I continue to scroll down the page, we have interested contractors. These are going to be the prime or the general contractors. You see some have filled in or populated their information here because they apparently are maybe intending on bidding. So these are our prime general contractors. Again, this is where you can network between the subcontractors and the general contractors. You click on the subcontractors. We have a couple of subcontractors that have populated their information in here that, again, some of the prime contractors may want to reach out to them for possible subcontracting opportunities to possibly help with meeting the DMDWBE goal. Okay, so again, these are just areas that I'm highlighting that are in bonfire for you to take note of. Any notice or public notice that I send out will be showing here under the public notices and the messages. And as well as vendor discussions is another area that we would prefer that the vendors send in their questions. This is the preferred method to send in your questions for about the project. We have received quite a bit of questions so far. I want to make note of that. And we are working on getting the responses out by way of an addendum, most likely next week, or hopefully by next week. So try to get your questions in as soon as possible so that we can try to get all of the responses out in a timely fashion. So again, this is where the vendor discussion section is where we would prefer for you to send in your questions. When we issue an addendum or post any information about the bid, we will send it out via the public notices. So just take note of that. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Deshaun Hines to discuss the DMDWBE goal.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Deshaun Hines, and I am the compliance officer for this bid. There is a 60% goal on this project. Bidders are required to submit their completed subcontractor material suppliers list, or it's actually called the MBE1 form, that shows the DMDWBE firms to be utilized on this project. Always ensure that the DMDWBE firm utilized has a current certification. right? And when I say certification, some folks try to turn in, or they feel that the SBE certification is what's needed. We actually need them to be certified with Hillsborough County as a DMDWBE or an MBE, WBE, or DBE with a state of Florida agency. I'll go into more details about that in a moment. So if you do need assistance with finding these DMDWBE firms, you can visit our vendor compliance site for the full uploaded list, or you can reach out to me via email or call, and I can help you with verifying the status if you already have some firms in mind. Failure to complete and submit this document, meaning the MBE1 form and the supporting documents, may result in the bid being rejected. Letters of intent for each of the MBE listed on the MBE1 form are required. So when it comes to the letter of intent, the DMDWBE subcontractor should include, but is not limited to, the following per our policies and procedures. The letter of intent should describe the scope of work to be performed by the subcontractor, the total estimated dollar value for the proposed scope of work, any contingencies. Also, it must include the contact information of the subcontractor's owner or managing partner. If the letter of intent is on the apparent low bidder's letterhead, a signature and contact information of the subcontractor's owner or managing partner is required. If the letter of intent is on the subcontractor's letterhead, however, a signature of the subcontracting firm's owner or managing partner is not required. The name of the DMDW firm on the total estimated dollar value of the proposed scope of work to be performed by the DMDW firm listed on the letter of intent must match the information listed on the apparent low bidders submitted MBE1 form. The DMDWBE documents are to be completed and submitted by the apparent low bidder within 5 business days of the notification. Insurance and professional services can also be utilized in meeting the goal requirement. You may also use firms that are, like I mentioned before, MBE, WBE, or DBE, or DBE certified by another government agency in the state of Florida. However, if the firm has graduated, been denied, or have previously received a one-time 6-month reciprocal with Hillsborough County, they cannot be utilized to meet the established MBE goal for this project. Finally, in the event that the DMDWBE participation by the approved DMDWBE subcontractors on the submitted MBE1 form and documents do not meet the MBE goal, the bidder is encouraged to provide their good faith effort documentation and all supporting documents proving active and aggressive seeking of DMDWBE participation within 5 business days after its notification of the apparent low bidder status by the county's procurement service department. The economic development department will make a determination as to the responsiveness of the bidders to the DMDWBE program's goals. If the bidder has not achieved the goal but has documented good faith efforts to achieve the goal, they may still receive approval for their bid. Lastly, if you have any questions about finding MBE firms, letters of intent, or any MBE related matters, you may reach out to our office directly. Anything else, you need to reach out to the procurement analyst. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Deshaun. Appreciate that. So just to reiterate a little bit, this is the form. I have the form up on the screen that we're speaking of that needs to be filled out. Please don't please take it seriously that this form needs to be filled out and submitted with your bid in order for you to be considered for the bid, to receive the bid if you are indeed the low bidder. So this form needs to be completely filled out as instructed. Again, if you need assistance, are having trouble with the subcontractors, finding subcontractors, or needing to verify their certification, you are able to reach out to the Economic Development Department without violating the cone of silence. So just keep that in mind. But please take this seriously. And I say that because we've had some bidders either submit the form and it's blank, or they submit the form and it doesn't have, the amount of the correct information on it. Because remember, you're trying to meet the goal of 16%. Well, it's 16% of your bid. So the information on here needs to reflect that. Also, you do have the ability to submit the good faith efforts. However, those are not required to be submitted with your bid, but this form is. So again, please take it seriously that if you do not submit this form, your bid can be and will likely be rejected. And it's stated here on the form. Bidder's failure to complete the requirements of this page may result in the entire bid being rejected. It has happened. So we can't stress it enough for you to submit the completed form with your bid. So I will move on to the contract terms and conditions document. Again, this is the document. It's your responsibility to make sure you read through all of these documents for complete understanding, making sure you understand what the requirements will be for this bid. We have important information, a lot of important information on these first few pages. So make sure you're reading through. We talk about the bid submission. We talk about making sure your bid is submitted on time. It's electronic submission through the bonfire system. So, when dealing with electronics and of such, you need to make sure that you allow yourself enough time to get the bid in, get it submitted, and not wait until the last minute, just in case, for some reason that system goes down, or, there's some sort of outage on your end, and, you've waited till the last minute, and then now you can't get it submitted. You must submit the bid electronically. And again, the instructions are here. If you have questions, you need to utilize this information here, because we do not manage bonfire. The procurement department does not manage bonfire. So you would have to reach out to bonfire directly. And we do have the support information here, the phone number, as well as an email address for their support. So keep that in mind, that if you're having technical difficulties with bonfire, you will need to reach out to bonfire directly. So we put that information here on these first few pages. We also put here, again, the deadline for the questions listed here, 14 calendar days. Will be 14 calendar days after the site visit. We put the MBE goal here. So all of the key information is in this document. So please make sure you read through it carefully and for understanding of what the requirements are, as far as the license requirements and such. All of that information is here. The allowances. There are allowances that we have listed here. Keep in mind that the allowances will be added by the county. We will add the allowances. That tends to be a question that comes up quite frequently. We will add the allowances. There are no line items for the allowances because we will add them at the time of award. So just keep that in mind as well. And it is stated here in the clauses. So again, also there are alternates on this bid. You make sure you read through the basis for award, because when there are alternates, you must submit pricing for every line item. Now, the county may elect to not select some of those alternates, as it is outlined here in the basis for award, but you do have to provide pricing for every line item. So just be mindful of that. The county may not select that alternate, but we do need the pricing for the alternate. So the bonding requirements are here. Performance and payment bonds will be required upon, by the selected or awarded vendor. So again, you must read through the document to make sure you understand what's required. Also, the DMWBE section is in here. It's All of the information that you need when regarding the DMWBE goal is in this section here, section 2.12. Something you don't understand, you can reach out to economic development, but please refer to the document first because there's a wealth of information in here as well. Liquidated damages, again, the days for completion, substantial and final completion are listed here in this document. Everything about this bid is either in this document or in the special conditions or the technical specifications. So again, make sure you read through every document that is shown here in Bonfire for understanding. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Amy at this time to just speak about the project at this time.
Thank you very much, Sybil and Deshawn, for the thorough discussion points there. I want to bring up a couple points. I'm just going to pull up the special conditions and a couple items in the construction documents. These are right in the bid package for your download, so nothing new is being shared here, but just wanted to make sure you've taken a look at what these items are. So within the special conditions, I'm just pointing out this is a construction of a three-phase continuous sequence of selective interior renovations and improvements within the existing interior 43,872 square foot Southshore Library building. The work includes, but it's not limited to, interior demolition, renovations and improvements, fixed furniture replacements, new interior partitions, new finishes, new and renovated restrooms, new office and meeting space, new interior storefront assemblies, temporary furniture relocations and moving services, library collection moving services, existing shelving modifications, new shelving, HVAC modifications, plumbing, fire protection, electrical, low voltage, AV systems that are associated with the selective renovations as indicated in the construction documents. And everything else that's described within the plans for complete assemblies. Your construction documents are listed here. There are also items you can download in the bid documents. Make sure you take a good look at those and the phasing. Within the special conditions, it has a description of what the phasing components are, general sequence of work. If you look in 5.6, it gives a very general description of what that's to include. Phase 1, provide temporary furniture, collection, shelving, and equipment configuration for staff to temporarily move into meeting rooms 126, 127, then renovate children's services, staff work area, toilet rooms, room 132, and accessory related areas. Phase 2, relocate the temporary furniture, library collection, shelving, and equipment out of the staff and children's area back into their renovated spaces. Create a temporary adult library and meeting rooms 126, 127. Then the computers are temporarily relocated into storage room 115. Renovate the main reading room 101 and the following spaces 101, 102, 103, 104, 5, 6, 107, 108, 111, and 112. Existing group restrooms and lobby. Then phase 3 is relocate the temporary library equipment, temporary furniture, library collection, shelving, public computers, relocation of public computers by owner out of main reading room, meeting rooms 126, 127, and storage room 114, 115 into the renovated main reading room. Reopen main reading room 100 and the following spaces 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 111, 112, 113, existing group restrooms and lobby to the public. And then at the completion of phase 3, the library will open to the public and staff. I want to point out there's 2 sets of construction documents you need to download. One is related to the Southshore Library renovations and the restroom renovations at various libraries for Southshore Library. And I'll just bring up the plans just real quick. So I'm not going to, you'll need to take a look at them, just showing you in general concept. The alternates are listed here within the special conditions. As you know, what the base bid is and what the additive alternate is within each one. So there's a group that is associated with the Southshore Library renovations, and there's a group per 2.10 for the restroom renovations. So please take a look at those carefully. They're listed in the special conditions. I'm going to bring up just a set of plans briefly. One second. Okay, this is for the overall library renovations. This is sheet A-030.2. And actually I'm going to start with A030.1. Sorry about that, because I'm going to start with phase 1. This is your sheet showing phase 1 for the main library renovation. Take a look at it. It has some information, construction access, various items in there. Phase 2. Whoops, my computer is stuck. Let's see if I can get it to go. Here we go. Let's see here. Well, it's got a mind of its own here. Let me go back. Okay, can you go back up one? There we go. Phase 2. This is sheet A-030.2. You'll see this is phase 2. Highlighted in the area in gray. Information of public access, construction access, from reminding you that the library will remain open and operational for limited sections during construction. In phase 3, this is A-030.3. This is phase 3. And again, you know, there's many other sheets. I'm just pointing out these because this has a good overview of the phasing for that compartment of the project. I'm going to bring up the restroom renovations. Bear with me while I bring it up. Okay, you'll see here in this set, here are the restroom renovations. This is the group restrooms being renovated into single restrooms, some more public restrooms, and then up here are the ad alternates. So please take a look at those. Just wanted to point those out. And I think that concludes my presentation. Sybil, unless you have other questions.
No, thank you, Amy. So, I just want to make mention that we're not taking, this is not going to be a question and answer session. We do these as informational, just to kind of give an overview of bonfire, as well as to just, you know, speak on about the DMDWBE goals, but all questions need to be submitted in writing. So again, this is just for informational, this meeting. I will post the recording in bonfire for access for anyone who may have came on late or missed the meeting. But again, this is just for information. You need to submit your questions in writing. I did make mention that we have received several questions so far. We are working on the responses, and we will get those out as soon as we can. But continue to submit your questions. Again, you have the deadline for the questions is again 14 days after tomorrow, from tomorrow. So if you plan on attending the site visit, it's 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's 9 a.m. tomorrow. And the address is in the document, as well as it is right here in bonfire, as to where the site visit, the location of site visit is being held, 9 a.m. So please try to be on time. If you do plan on attending, we do encourage you to attend. But again, we will not be taking questions. You're just going to walk the site. You'll be able to see the areas. We will have our PM there describing the areas. But again, no questions. Your questions need to be submitted in writing. Amy, will they be allowed to take pictures?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Yes.
So anyone that comes to the site visit, you'll be able to take pictures. of the site. But again, your questions will need to be submitted in writing. Do want to make mention again of the cone of silence. If you're not familiar with Hillsborough County's bidding process, there is a cone of silence in place. Please do not reach out to Amy. Please do not reach out to the architect, Harvard Jolly. They will not be able to help you. All your questions should come to me, and I will get the responses back out to you by way of the public notices in Bonfire, either by way of an addendum or the responses will be posted. So please keep that in mind. The cone of silence, it is a real thing. If you're found to have violated it in some way, you will be thrown out or not able to proceed with the bidding process for this project. So it is serious. So again, please make sure you download, read through all the documents, and utilize the features in Bonfire that I touched on. As far as looking at the document takers, if you're looking to, find subcontractors, or if subcontractors on here that are looking to connect with some of the prime contractors, this is your opportunity or your informational area to be able to connect with these firms. If you click on the view button over here, it gives out their information, their email address, their phone number. This is the way to network and connect with each other to help each other either find subcontractors or find general contractors to partner with for this bid. Again, also, if you're interested in, if you're planning on submitting a bid for this project, here's another area where you can list your information as well, subcontractors as well. So there's a wealth of information in Bonfire. Please utilize the features. We're glad to help, but we do, the features are here for a purpose. So you can certainly utilize them with your submission. And again, I can't stress enough, please make sure you're completing all of the required forms and submitting them with your bid. And submit your bids as early as you possibly can. Try not to wait until the 5 minutes to 2 p.m. We've had catastrophes where people waited until that 5 minutes before, and then the computer went down or the system went down. And it's just, we don't want that to happen. We need your bids. We want your bids. So just try to get them in, start them early. You can start your bid and just save it, and the information will be there. Go ahead and start it early. That way you're already ahead of the curve when it's time to submit the bid. All your, just have to upload your final documents and get it submitted. Again, the close date is currently June the 3rd. Currently June the 3rd. We don't anticipate it being moved out, but you never know. If we get, if we get a delay with getting the addendums out or anything, sometimes we have to extend that deadline. But as of right now, it's June the 3rd. So I believe we've covered everything or touched on everything that we wanted to highlight. So we're going to go ahead and conclude this pre-bid meeting for today. We want to thank you all for your attendance and your time and your interest in this project, and we're hoping to get some good bids for this project. So again, thank you all for your time. That's going to conclude the pre-bid conference for IFB-25-00203, the Southshore Library renovations and the Southshore Library restroom renovations. Thank you.